Have you ever wondered why there are so many people who do not read? If yes, you're in the right place, because today I want to hold a discussion on the reasons that have led to the dramatic decrease of the reading culture nowadays. My name is Evgnossia and welcome to my channel. Hello everybody, today I want to start the discussion series that I've been planning to launch on this channel. But firstly, I just want to tell you why and how I came up with this idea. So lately I've been watching a lot of booktube newbie tag videos, and the reasons that the lovely people of our community have decided to start their own channels. So the most common answer to the question, why did you start this channel, was, I love reading, but I don't have people with whom I will be able to discuss the books that I'm reading. So I started wondering why there are so many people who do not read. So I think that those discussions will give us some insights on the reasons that people do not love read, but we'll also have the opportunity to show the people that actually reading is cool. But before we start, I just want to tell you that all the reasons that you will hear today are just my personal thoughts and opinions. I just want to have with you guys a civil conversation on this topic. I'm sure that we all had those moments in our lives where people were asking us, why are you reading so much? Or, oh my god, you're still reading this book? Oh, Jesus Christ. Or, oh, I don't want to read this book, I just prefer to watch the movie. Of course you can watch the movie, but firstly you have to read this book because it's awesome. I'm sure also that those questions are very popular among people who do not read. And please not hear that I don't want to use the phrase they do not love reading, because I genuinely believe that there aren't any people who do not love reading. There are only people who don't know that they are readers. They're just living in this ignorance, let's say, that they do not love reading. Because let's be honest, guys, I haven't heard anyone in my life telling me that, you know what, I don't want and I don't love watching movies. I don't want to spend my, let's say, night today watching a TV show. So why? Why people are telling that they do not love reading? So today I have 4 reasons that I think may somehow explain why people think that they are not readers. So let's start from the very beginning. Let's start from the factor of our families. We all know that family is the first socializing cycle where a person starts developing his own individuality, his personality, and his own preferences. So, if a person is raising in a family where reading is embraced, he will have this motivation to pick up a book and to read this book. But if a person is raising in a family where reading is neglected, not because his parents don't love reading, but maybe because they just don't have the time, because we're living in this quick society where there are so many developments, and sometimes our parents have to work on 2, 3, 4 jobs in order to provide for the family. So they just don't have the courage and the time to show to their children that reading is cool. You have to read in order to be erudite, let's say. So if he's raising in a family where reading it's not, let's say, a priority, then he's most likely become someone who will think that he's not a reader. He will have this false impression that he don't love reading. The second reason may be the peer pressure, and especially among the young population, where the conscious and the subconscious are still very sensitive and they are very prone to the external influences. So, if they socializing in a group where the leader thinks that reading is old-fashioned, is boring, the most likely is the majority of the members will accept these beliefs. Not because they think that he's right, but maybe because they're afraid to be excluded from this group. They're afraid to stand out of the crowd and to be different. I know that the modern society is trying to show off all the benefits of being different and the essence of the diversity, but still those topics are very sensitive and people unfortunately believe that being different is something intimidating. We also know that those topics are very popular in literature, in movies with value. So, if people were reading a little bit more, then I think that we could avoid all those morbid situations such as rivalry between nations, hatred, wars, because reading is making people empathetic. Readers know that all those that I've mentioned before are not the solution to any problem. The fourth reason is the huge technological developments, and especially in the latest years. And in any case, I'm telling you to not use the technology. But as everything else in this life, so does the technology has its own drawbacks and benefits, and we just have to find the middle ground in order to use the technology to read, to socialize, and to fit in our lives everything else that occupies us every day. We just don't have to forget the importance of reading for our health, for our mental health, for our brains, for our individualities, and of course for the peace in this world. And if we have a look back in time, when we didn't have all this technology, when we didn't have internet, what people were doing? They were socializing, they were reading. Moving on to the fourth reason. So here I want to discuss a little bit about the role that our governments have in this reading culture. But I don't want to have a great discussion because it's a rabbit hole, and if we're gonna start, we've never finished. I want to ask you guys, does your country has a reading culture? Does your government provide your country with a budget for public libraries, for events such as reading events and conventions? Does the government schedule lessons for the young population in order for them to develop this habit of reading? Because a culture is not only the responsibility of the people. Actually, the government is accountable for developing and for having a culture, a reading culture in our case. The government is the official representative of the country. So, if we have a government who provides people with this opportunity of developing this habit of reading, then I think that this country is actually very lucky to have such a government. I think that this government cares for its citizens. This government wants to have educated people, people who will think critically, because reading helps people to broaden their horizons, to enrich the knowledge, to accept themselves. If the government do not care about providing people with this opportunity for the long life education, because it's a long life process, then this kind of government do not want to have clever citizens. They just prefer brainwashed puppets who will follow and accept every decision they are making without questioning. And I'm asking you, do we need such a government? Before we close this discussion, I just want you to think with me when our world started developing. I think that it's only after the reading and writing were discovered, our world started developing, and we started having all those discoveries. And I'm telling reading and writing because these tools are inseparable. We don't have reading without writing and writing without reading. So our ancestors came up with a code. They managed to document all the discoveries they made and to pass them to the next generations, and the next generations were able to read those discoveries, to set their own goals, to achieve them, and to give us this beautiful world we are living in today. All the stories and all the books that we are reading actually teaching us one important lesson. All the stories tell us that we have to stand up, to raise our voice and to achieve positive changes when we know that things are wrong, where we see that there are inequalities. So I can proudly proclaim that reading and writing are the bedrocks of our community and the world. So in order to keep having developments, to keep innovating, to keep having the positive changes, we just have to keep reading, we just have to keep writing, and thus we have to keep educating ourselves. And I know that changes are intimidating. We're afraid of them because we don't know what they can bring. We resist to change, but do you know what is the most exciting thing about change? We don't have to wait for that. We can become the change. So guys, let's be the change. So let's spread the love for reading. Let's remind the world that reading is important. Let's remind people the benefits of reading. Let's remind that all those written words are very important for developing our behaviors, our positive behaviors, our minds, our souls, and to keep the peace in this world. Are you with me?